It is a job that you will never know what you're walking into on a day-to-day basis. But I feel like that's probably what I enjoy the most. I'm a type A person, but I've definitely learned to just be adaptable to the fact that my day normally does not go as how I plan. You never know what you're gonna get.
She's kind of fearless, which I think is a good thing, not reckless. She's interested in doing something different or doing things differently, doing things more efficiently, but she's the consummate team player.
In our unit, there's only 3 agents and they work together as a team. So, it's a general term to say she's a team player, but in that small grouping, you have to be a team player, and she definitely is a team player there.
I feel like she does it all. She does it all. Like, she is a family person, she's a great mom, but yet at the same time, she's a great agent, and she just is able to balance everything so well.
She's a great person. She got my head straight. She let me know that I'm doing good in her program.
She's very easy to work with. She's very understanding. She actually seems to care.
Congratulations, Mickaela. I am very honored to work with you. I'm very happy for this distinguished honor you received. You deserve it. Best wishes. I look forward to working with you in the future. God bless.
Mickaela, thank you for being such a great coworker. I love being your boss and I love being your friend, and there's no one else that deserves this award but you.
So when I was in high school, probably shouldn't say this, but I was definitely like the kid who just could care less to be there. Nothing there ever grabbed my attention. I struggled with good grades, things like that. And so there was a criminal justice class, though, that was offered through a vocational school that our high school would take kids to and from. So, and they offered a bunch of other classes. There was culinary and wood shop. I think there was auto, and so I took the criminal justice class, and that was the only class that I actually got a decent passing grade with.
Do you normally schedule all your home visits in one day?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's we're doing this, you get the minds out for it.
Yeah. I usually will just do at least 10, if not more a day, when I do go out. A successful home visit is just being able to go to a home, verify that they do live there, but that there's no violation in the home either. You want to be able to determine that there's nothing violating their probation orders, which could be anything from possessing a weapon, narcotics. I've walked into houses where I am more than ankle deep in trash, where there is feces and urine lining the entire house and pop bottles. I've had to go on home visits where someone was so intoxicated that I've had to call for medical transport to take them to detox. Obviously, I've walked into countless homes finding weapons in the house. I've done a home visit on somebody, and 2 days later, they were killed.
Probably, like I said, she would say, do not let the negatives affect the work that we do and the passion that we have. That is definitely the words of wisdom that she's given me before, because she just says there's so many politics, there's all this negative, even outside, like I said, with the community. This job can be a very thankless job at times, so she has really taught me to still enjoy it and remember the purpose of what we do and the passion that we have for the work that we do. So she always said, don't let that steal your joy and what our purpose is.
Yeah, so I think she's got maybe a multi-personality, whereas she doesn't want the attention, she doesn't like the limelight, but she's very diligent about the work and getting the work done. And so she's not shy as it relates to work or doing what's in the best interest of the population we serve, the people she supervises, and then the community, at large. To the extent to where while she doesn't like the attention, she was asked to do a presentation at a local school district, as it relates to probation and parole. So And I think she looked forward to doing that because it was an opportunity to talk about the job, not herself.
Maybe like when we talk with them just about that, there's just this assumption that working or going to school for criminal justice is your police officer, or being a police officer is like the one-stop shop. There's a lot of other branches within the field of criminal justice that a lot of people don't know about. And I didn't realize there were so many until I started got into college. And I feel like without having that knowledge, a lot of kids could probably pass up a career that maybe they think, they might be really good at. So that's more so just to kind of broaden their horizons of, what types of fields there really are in criminal justice.
So she supervised the females when I came onto this job. And then probably about a year after I became an agent, I began supervising the females. And so she just really helped me learn that caseload specifically. She would take on a different approach with the females, which I learned from her. I liked that, where she was more personable with them because she was just a female herself. And so she just really taught me how to work with that caseload specifically.
She's not very mean or like rude. She has a very calm-like tone to her. It's not aggressive. And I think that definitely plays a big role.
Like you want your caseload to be honest with you, and that's, the goal, because there's a lot of intervention that you can have with somebody if they're being honest, if they're telling you about a relapse or anything like that,
About a year ago, I was going through like a little bit of a negative mental state. I was hospitalized. She was very understanding with that, and she definitely gave like some words of encouragement, if that makes any sense.
Can you shed any light on what she might have told you to help you through that moment? Or
She really kind of just told me to focus on me. Worry about what's going on with my life, and not to worry about all the extra stuff. Worry about myself getting on track, and that's what we aimed for together. And I think it's been working very well.
And just especially being at the office with court, anybody can just pop up if they need a tether hooked up or anything like that. But also, you never know what kind of violations you're kind of walking into at the same time, especially like coming in on a Monday.
But I already signed that for you to get reports from my counsel.
Yep. Yeah, I got all that.
All right.
I'm gonna download it real quick. You can rest your ankle down, actually. This one, pull your pant leg up for me.
Is there anything that Agent McKellar here has helped you?
Oh yeah, she's been wonderful help. Just her communication with me helped me a lot, because I was able to get some things done that was being thwarted on other areas. But she put me in the right direction, and I talked to the judge, and everything went well.
Now I can pull my socks up.
Yeah.
After the pandemic, things slowly got back down to normal. And we had previously had agents, we call liaisons in different police agencies, to sort of forge a relationship with law enforcement in different areas, communities that we serve. So she took it upon herself to begin to cultivate and reiterate some of those liaisons positions. And so she independently started going around to different police agencies, introducing herself, reestablishing those relationships, to the point to where some of the police agencies started contacting us and reaching out to us. And then other agencies would learn that another agency, because all the different departments, heads, detectives, chiefs have meetings, and they started to learn of what one agency was doing. And so they started to reach out back to us, wanting to have their own liaisons. And that's only grown and grown since then in a couple different ways. But I'd like to say she was at the forefront of reestablishing it. So again, this was something that existed before liaison, so I'm not saying that she broke ground and created this position, but after the pandemic, she was one of the people on the forefront to try to get things back to normal, but even creating different relationships, which has only grown since then. And that's been over the last 3 years that she's cultivated those relationships and really been on the forefront of doing that.
I mean, it really just came down to her asking, because no other agents were in the police departments at that point. Prior to COVID, 10 years ago, there were parole agents that would stop into the different police agencies that were essentially like liaisons, but it had gone to the wayside, once COVID hit. And so it was just kind of her getting back into it. Like I said, she's always involved with the compliance checks, and that was a component of it. So it really was just a passion of hers. And I remember specifically when I asked R.M. Hawkins if she could go to New Baltimore, I was kind of afraid of the answer because I didn't want him to say no. But he said, Dina, if she is passionate about this, then we're just going to run with it. And you can really see people flourish when you actually let them do things that they're passionate about. And it's turned into this.
I don't know, that it's hard to say that, to come up with anything that hasn't been said in terms of how deserving, how she has a drive and desire to want to do her absolute best. She doesn't have the desire to be the best. I think she just wants to be the best version of herself and wants to get the job done. She doesn't want any accolades or any recognition. In fact, she shies away from that. But I think she goes out of her way to do the absolute best.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Big congratulations to her on such a big accomplishment, and well-deserved. With all she does for the department, man, this is, like I said, well-deserved for her, and I congratulate her and wish her all the best.
That's kind of a hard one because there's so many things that I would love to say to her. I mean, I'm very thankful that she's been able to work with me. She's definitely helped me realize my value, that this isn't the life that I need or want to live. I want to get better, and she's really helped me realize that.
Yeah, congratulations. And I told her she is more than deserving of this award. She has put her heart and soul into this job. And like I said, she has been able to balance her family life with this job, and she is someone who I look up to. She is my go-to for everything in this job, and she deserves it. She deserves it today, tomorrow, and every year in the future.